You are listening to the Beaverton, North America's trusted source of news.
This week on the Beaverton, the election campaign kicks into high gear, and if you were hoping to hear a bunch of unilingual Anglo journalists opine on the French skills of a bunch of unilingual Anglo politicians, good news, because the French debate is tonight. Tourism pullbacks and boycotts will reportedly cost the U.S. $90 billion this year. On the bright side, the El Salvador tourism industry has never been doing better. Mark Carney says Canada won't recognize the state of Palestine until Israel does as part of the peace process. Or to put it more succinctly, Mark Carney says Canada will never recognize the state of Palestine. That's right, it's time to make fun of the news once again. It's the Beaverton Weekly Report for April 16th, 2025. Welcome to the show, everyone. So glad you were tuning in. There's so much to talk about this week. My name's Luke Gorenfield, and I am joined, as always, by my all-star panel of comedians. This week on the program, we have two of our regular panelists, both of whom are hard at work coming up with fake campaign button ideas. Nile, Seguin, and Ian MacIntyre.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. My button press is hot.
Thank you. And a very special guest. She is a brilliant writer and performer whose work you may know from New Eden, The Snoopy Show, and the Beaverton television program, as well as the co-host of the hit podcast I Hate It But I Love It, Jocelyn Geddie. Welcome.
Well. You finally pinned me down, Luke. You finally got me in the chair. Well,
this is our fifth episode.
good luck. Not the first I couldn't help but notice, or the second or the third. The fifth, well, all right.
Why is there like 1940s sexy film energy?
Yeah, it's like I'm a private detective and she's telling me find out who murdered my husband. Spoiler alert, it was definitely me who murdered my husband.
I'm going through, I'm going to say like a 2025 vibe shakeup for myself. I feel like we're going to audition a lot of different personalities here on the pod today. And you know what, listeners? Tell us what sticks. Tell us what you want to see.
I love that you're starting from the 40s. You're going to make your way up, presumably, to
That's
present
right.
day.
Every 10 minutes, I'm going to pivot to a new decade.
I can't wait to the 60s daddy-o jazz cigarettes.
What do you think?
I'm pretty sure that was the
60s
50s.
What? Was that not?
No, that's exactly it. Listen, Daddy-o, jazz cigarettes.
That's it. That's the whole voice.
Yeah, that's all you have to say.
Anyways, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. Leave a comment which character of Jocelyn's you like the best by the end of the podcast.
Yeah, you jazz cigarettes. Let's see.
I think jazz cigarettes has been said multiple times on this podcast, which is truly impossible. Not just this episode, but like over the course of our 5 whole episodes.
By the way, the
I blame
Beaverton.
Meg. She stuck it in my head.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say the Beaverton is brought to you by Jazz Cigarettes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
They're legal now.
Yes.
That's the
And
slogan.
more narcotic than they should be, and usually are. Yes.
Yeah, they're mostly PCP.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the program, and I'm very excited to have you. Even though it took you 5 whole episodes, it took us 5 whole episodes to lock you down. We'll try and do better, I guess.
Good. Thank you. I want that said right off the top.
I mean, you're welcome anytime, believe me. But why don't we dive into the news? And we have just a super important story to lead off with. I feel like every time, and on this show, on other shows, we act like Canadian politics is a real thing that has consequences. It's just as important as what's happening in the States. A news story comes along that reminds us we're basically a small town about to elect a dog as its mayor. And this year is no different because we're talking about the biggest scandal of the Canadian election, Buttongate. Which, for those who are blissfully unaware, 2 Liberal Party staffers attended last week's Canada Strong and Free Networking Conference, where they planted buttons that used Trump-style language and highlighted division within the Conservative Party. One said, "Stop the steal." Another, "Make Canada great again." Another said, "Lock Justin up." A little bit dated. A vote for Carney is a vote for Wexit, Free Alberta, and Danielle Smith for CPC leader.
Danielle Smith actually left that one.
Yeah, that one was real.
Was that real about the Wexit one?
Those are all, again, these are all like plants that they were trying to make people think the Conservatives think. Anyways, it was a double bluff. It didn't work out.
I know Wexit is for West Exit, but it always sounds like Weenie Exit to me.
Yeah. It's also such a bold move to call your movement Wexit when BC's over there, the furthest west province, being like, no. Please don't lump in with you potash growing fucks. We're not like you. What was your reaction when you heard this story? Funny bit or incredibly stupid move?
Why can't it be both? It's funny because it's so stupid. Yeah. You can always trust the Liberals to come up with the dumbest cell phones. Especially when they're ahead. Oh, they love it when they're ahead. And they can fuck it up even more.
So self-destructive.
Yeah.
So self-destructive. The Liberals are like, and I mean this in general, they're like that gifted kid that has ADHD and just no impulse control. It's like they'll be coasting and then it's like, let's do this. And then like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's insane. It's crazy. And it's nuts that it was like, we were talking about this before the podcast, and it was like, it wasn't even like an investigation. They literally just got drunk in a bar and spoke right to this reporter. It was amazing. And then when this one guy confirmed it, and then when she clearly gave the vibe, she's like, "I'm probably gonna write this." He's like, "Oh no, I didn't." I'm like, "What?"
And attempted retroactive off the record.
Let me tell you, we progressives, we lost our intelligent high ground. Like, we like to be like, we're not. We're just as dumb as everybody.
Oh, we're talking liberal staffers here. These are not progressive guys.
Fair.
Well, that is the part of it that's so obviously funny. The whole thing's ridiculous, but that's the part that's so obviously funny is that there's a bar in Ottawa, and I didn't know about this before this story broke, where Politico staffers, especially liberals, like to go drink. And the report was like, and also reporters go there. And it's like, oh, I wonder why. Because a bunch of drunk 28-year-old liberal staffers are getting hammered and bragging about their hilarious button prank that's totally going to move the polls in their favor even more than they already are. I mean, it's like, oh, I wonder why journalists go there. Like, if you're a Politico staffer and you want to get drunk and brag about your hilarious Mission Impossible style heist move, like, just go to a different fucking bar. But nah, do this. I mean, it gave us content, so I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, no, we like this one bar where everyone's wearing a conspicuous top hat with a large whirring circle in it that blinks a light at us occasionally just to let us really know that something's up there. It just feels seen.
Also, can we take a moment to appreciate that this staffer thought this was something worth bragging about?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
are you really?
Oh, that's how you know
Guess
they're
what
liberals.
I did.
Well, this is a bit inside baseball for TV writing, but it really does have the energy of someone who had one idea for a joke at the very beginning of a season and has been pitching the same thing every single day. And really in a way where everyone was like, Todd, we're not going to do the button thing.
We're not
And
doing
you
the button
gotta
thing.
let it go. And he was like, guys, I made the buttons. And you're like, okay, well, Todd, it's not
Called
happening.
my own number.
By the way, you guys, I'm sorry I kept pitching the button thing on the Beaverton TV show. You were all there, and I feel bad about it still.
Ian, I'm just so glad that you've acknowledged this podcast for the intervention that it clearly is. And
All right,
Anyway,
so
guys, new pitch. Hilarious buttons.
What about bumper stickers? That's the thing is buttons. Like, why buttons? Is it 1973? Like, was there not a more effective way to convince voters that conservatives might be a bit Trumpy? A thing that voters are already clearly very convinced of? Like, what about buttons was a thing that the liberal staffers felt like that's the way to go? That's the way we speak to voters in 2025.
You're looking at me. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm looking at you just because you gave me eye contact. I'm like, thank God, I needed that.
But don't you kind of love the innocence of it? Because my move would be I would go on Reddit and make my username like bad person 69 Canada.
Yeah.
But the innocence of being like buttons. I kind of like it's a glimmer of hope in an increasingly dark world. You know what I mean?
Maybe we're looking at this wrong, and maybe it's not the young staffers who did it. Maybe it's the super old staffers.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Paul Martin and Jean Chrétien coming back in like, I got a great idea. We'll put these buttons out there. We'll know what happened.
And then what does John Chrétien sound like?
You always make fun of my Paul Martin impression. I work on it really hard. He sounds exactly like that.
No, it was a good Chrétien. I just was like, okay, I'll play Paul Martin. And then I was like, wait, no. How do you do Paul Martin? Oh dear, I think I'm doing him now. Like,
Yeah, literally are. That's a great Paul Martin.
Thank
Listeners,
you.
please reach out to us online if you can do a Paul Martin impression, or if you know what one would even sound like, or if you're Paul Martin and listening to this.
Yes, definitely.
But can you do a 60s Paul Martin? That's my
Hey, Daddy-O, shipping. He was in the shipping, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how he made his money, was shipping.
Definitely.
Don't know why I know that. So the buttons were one thing, and then, this whole, it does, the one serious side of it all, and sorry to be this guy where we're talking about such a ridiculous story, is it creates this, the voters have clearly latched on to this messaging that they were trying to create, which is conservatives equal Trump, conservatives equal MAGA. Not everyone, but clearly a large percentage of the voters have already bought into this message. But now, by doing this, you kind of allow the conservatives to say, that's all liberal attack ads. That's not real. That's all stunts and BS that they brought forward. We haven't actually done anything all that Trumpy, even though, of course, they have done many things that are so clearly Trumpy with, supporting the convoy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need to go through it all. But it does kind of give the conservatives a defense they didn't have before against you're just kind of like Trump Canada Maple MAGA, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the one serious side of it. But do you think this will actually have an impact on the race, or is this just a goofy thing to talk
None
about?
whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like I ask that every week, and everyone's like, nope. No. Every story, they're like, nope, nothing's changed.
I do love that Carney came out and was immediately like, they've been reassigned, and everyone was like, that's not enough. But it's Carney saying it, and when that guy says something like that, I'm like, oh, reassigned is for sure a euphemism for liquidated.
Yeah, he's got a
Which is also a euphemism. I'm assuming.
Yeah, fair.
He's got a Dr. Evil style lever that he just pulls and they fall back into the
Exactly.
piranhas. I forget what it was.
Yeah, piranhas for sure, the
Yeah,
volcano pit or whatever it is. But Mark Carney has definitely had like low-level staffers eliminated before.
Yeah, like code for like they're joining Brookfield is just code for like, well, never gonna see them again. It does also remind me of like when there was the candidate or MP actually who was kind of encouraging people on how to claim a bounty that the Chinese Communist Party had put on his opponent, and then the story was not at top of the newspaper story, top of the headline, but it was like a thing that just dragged on for weeks because Carney wouldn't dump that MP, and everyone was like, why don't you just get rid of this guy? And then 3 weeks later he was like, all right, we got rid of that guy, and I just feel like the exact same thing's gonna happen with this, where he's like, don't worry, they've been reassigned, which we don't know what they did before, we don't know what they're doing now, but that takes care of everything because for all we know, their office is in like one department over.
Yeah, like whose nephews are they? Just fire them. You can't fire them? Like this is how the world works. I don't understand. They must have crushed the interview. I don't know. These are good draft picks, man. We gotta. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? One word: buttons. I don't understand. Just fire them. Fire them. There's plenty of staffers.
Yeah, although this is starting to lend a lot of credence to the idea that this literally was Paul Martin as Jean Chrétien. He's like, I can't, because it was Jean Chrétien, and it took him a long time to figure out the button maker, and...
You know what famous old-timey liberal this might be? The ghost of William Lyon Mackenzie.
The least subtle setup.
I had it in a note.
It's gotta happen organically, you guys.
I will make this happen.
I almost set it up when we were talking about the 50s versus the 60s. I was like, well, you know who was alive in 1952? And then I had restraint, and then you were like, no restraint, bring it on.
Fine. We'll wait until it's organic to bring them back.
I think this is
I'm gonna be like
fun.
Dave
You're like
Chappelle and never do it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like 2 hours in, I'm not feeling it. I'm going home. Send them
And
home.
go to Africa for several years and come back weird.
transphobic as fuck. Yeah.
It just takes one mid bit for me to just become an egomaniac. I'm leaving.
I was going to make a much dirtier joke, which is that you were edging Ian with this William Lyon Mackenzie king bit that he's just so desperate
I am,
to get.
but
yeah.
with the bit. All right. We can cut that.
No. We don't cut anything except my screw ups. Ha ha ha.
Oh.
It took me 8 times to get through the intro, listeners.
We've been here
Anyways.
4 hours.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like that was the thing about like why can they why can they not fire them? Is I guess they're trying to play on earlier in the week before that story broke. The whole thing was about the conservatives wearing shirts saying, "Do you believe the polls?" and holding up signs saying, "Do you believe the polls?" In other words, doing a kind of light version of the Donald Trump Stop the Steal thing with, suggesting that all the polls that show the liberals decently ahead or well ahead are all rigged or CBC or something, which. What does that, for the conservatives, what does that get them? Like, what's the benefit? Even if that's true, they'll be proven right on election day. What is the benefit of promoting this idea that the polls are rigged?
I mean, the conservatives have had a long-standing war against math. Numbers and objective
And
fact.
according
they
to
don't
their
like
calculations, they are winning. They are ahead 90,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they just like to be seen fighting everything. They're fighting all kinds of stuff. So they're fighting the polls now. I don't know.
Polls are woke.
The polls are woke, yes.
I don't have a joke for this. I don't know where I read this. It's one of those nerd books. It was probably... Anyways, apparently they found the best way to persuade people to do something is to tell them other people are doing it. So I guess if you have polls showing that your opponent's way ahead, then you want to fight that because you got that psychological phenomenon of like, oh, well, everyone's voting liberal, so I guess I'll go along.
Oh, actually, that's a really good reason. That's Thank you for sharing that. I did not consider that. That's very
cannot
fascinating.
remember where I read it, so it could be.
I mean, we'll just say you made it up.
Yeah. It could be 4chan, so let's all calm down. Because I spend a lot of time.
I'm so sorry your website got hacked today.
Is 4chan still a thing? I can't even remember.
I have no idea. While you were surfing the dark web, you came across a really valuable fact.
You know what?
Sometimes.
People malign the dark web, but there's some facts on there.
Listen.
It's not just all about getting crystal meth to China.
A stopped clock is right twice a day. The dark web does at least one positive thing every 10 years.
Everyone just focuses on the cloud. Let's focus on that silver lining. Huh?
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I don't know
cloud
enough.
storage joke. I was like, wait, what?
I don't know enough about the dark web to know how bad that tasteless that joke was.
No, I love the idea that everyone refers to the dark web and you sincerely believe that it is some place for data storage. And you're like, you gotta get on there.
Yeah.
You gotta put all your backup scripts on the dark web.
Yeah, your hilarious button pitch that is going to work on the next show you're on. Yeah.
Someone's gonna take it one of these days.
But the thing about the poll specifically is that there are some polls showing tightening. Like Main Street had the Conservatives actually leading in their daily tracking poll, which hilariously, even that poll would have still given the Liberals a majority because the Conservative vote is just so inefficient and the Liberal vote is so efficient. So, hey, first past the post. Pretty good, I know. But anyways.
You're just saying that because you destroyed democracy.
Yes, I did.
As a young man.
As a young man, I destroyed democracy here and abroad. We've established this. But anyways,
Classic.
do you think there's anything Poilievre is doing to bring some of the voters that abandoned him back? Or is this just a case of we're getting close to the finish line and it was never going to be this big a blowout?
I feel a bit of that, but I also feel like this is just like the effects of social media on our brains. Just like, what else? Is it still Carney? I'm bored now. Let's go back to.
You peaked too early.
You peaked too early. That's the thing. I don't know if this is illegal, but I was like, you should have just called the election for like 15 minutes from now. Can you do that? Election 20 minutes from now. Everyone run to your stations. There's no like, just go.
I genuinely and sincerely would love that, and I believe it would be net positive for our society if it was like, the next hour, there will be an election. Run! Do it now. Don't think about it anymore.
And because of that system, we have one every month. You have a month as prime minister to get your shit together, and if not, other election.
It's like Amber Alerts on your phone.
Yes.
Everyone in the bar is just
Go.
I mean, I say go farther. I say get like a Logan's Run style gem in the hand that just starts going, and you're like, it's happening again, and you gotta run to the nearest elementary school because guess what? The election's back on.
Yeah.
We should never be complacent ever again.
I love this. Guys, we're cooking.
This
cooking.
The solution to Canada's problems: dystopia. We've come up with
Dystopia for you, killer of democracy, but for the rest of us, we want more democracy, quantity and quality.
the most democracy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I get a job at McDonald's, there's a probationary period of three months. Why don't we have that for our leadership? Huh? 3 months in, new election.
To be clear, I wasn't
And a trainee
inherently
hat.
objecting to frequent elections. I was more objecting to you're tattooed with a thing that makes you go vote on a moment's notice.
Oh, well,
No,
if
I
you're going
never-
to kill every idea.
It's not a tattoo, Luke. It's a gem
It is a
embedded
gem.
in your body.
Read a
up, Luke.
fucking book
Read
about
up,
a movie.
Luke. It's a painful gem, and they put it in your hand, Luke. What's wrong with that?
In the
You know what? I
very
would-
popular movie Logan's Run, which people still watch all the time.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Oh, have you not seen the movie?
Oh, I've seen the movie.
I don't think it's painful. It beeps, and then they send you into that twirling thing where you burst into flames.
Oh, for sure.
Which, we got to put that in somehow.
I think I'm advocating for a gem that does hurt, though. I want it to also hurt on top of everything else.
Democracy costs.
This is my new
Makes you
character,
appreciate the
guys.
sacrifice.
Gem bitch.
Well, you have moved up to the 70s with Logan's Run,
That's right.
so yeah.
Thank you for staying on top of this, Ian. Yeah, it's the 70s now, and I am now the popular character Gem bitch. So get into it.
I love the Gem Bitch movies so much.
Luke, you are deeply regretting asking me on this show, and I love knowing you well enough to see that on your face.
That is an amazing goal. I'm going to come on this podcast and try to make you regret it.
I am thrilled you're here, and I'm only mad that I don't know enough about Logan's Run to keep up with the bit. I'm just mad I never watched Logan's Run, and I'm like, how do I segue this into pop culture I know? Because what does Blade 2 have to say about this? Anyways. Turning cutting back slightly to real life, when, despite the polls showing maybe some tightening, although there's still lots of polls showing the Liberals well ahead, Doug Ford jumped into the mix because his campaign manager's name, I still can't pronounce, Corey with a K, had more comments about the federal Conservatives' complete disaster of a campaign, and he dropped more, what the fuck are you doing towards Jenny Byrne, the Conservative campaign manager. And so Doug Ford naturally was asked about this, and he came out and said, sometimes the truth hurts, and basically said if Corey was in charge, Poilievre would be doing better. And also kind of not so, maybe not insinuated, but maybe I'm just reading into it, seemed to indicate that maybe if he was leader, they'd be doing better. Is that a thing that we think he's actively doing, or is he just kind of riding with the flow because who gives a shit?
Well, Doug Ford said the truth hurts, but what he meant by that was it physically hurts him to tell the truth. Because, Doug Ford, famous truth teller, him, coming in here with truth bombs all left, right, and center. Doug Ford hates Pierre Poilievre, and he's loving every minute of this. It's the best.
But since when? When did he start hating Pierre Poilievre? I was not aware of this until this campaign.
When Pierre Poilievre was the leader and not him.
But he never ran for leader of the federal.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Are you accusing Doug Ford of being rational in the things that he wants?
I guess. I get...
And having a fulsome understanding of our parliamentary and government procedures?
No, I would never accuse him of that.
Doug Ford wanted to bury a tunnel under the 401 like last week.
Still
Doug Ford doesn't know shit.
Absolutely still does.
You're right. He still
will
does.
bring that back. That, or he'll do an elevated tunnel or elevated highway above the 401 and a tunnel underneath. Don't give him more ideas. But I don't get me wrong. I agree that there's trying to track the rational thought of Doug Ford is an impossible question that I've put to you all. I do understand that. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do we think Doug Ford is sewering Pierre Poilievre so he can become the Conservative leader?
I think it's funny that you think anyone needs a reason to not like Pierre Poilievre. How could this have happened? Famously lovable Pierre Poilievre.
Think about biological clocks. Fair enough. I guess there's really nothing more to say other than I guess we're going from Pierre Poilievre to probably Doug Ford, which is an insane statement, but I don't know. I don't have any thoughts on it other than just every time Doug Ford runs for something, I'm like, 10% of my brain is like, that'll be hilarious. And 90% is like, this is going to be really bad. He's going to win somehow. And the 90% has been right, obviously, other than the mayoral run. So it's like, I just can't imagine him as prime minister, but fuck it. In 3 years, we're going to be talking about him on this podcast as prime minister probably. So who knows?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely it is.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, everyone just sit in silence for 2 minutes so the listener can really wrap their brains around that, and then we'll move on.
I just wonder if there's a way to preemptively shore up healthcare. Like if I can just get a bunch of elective procedures done now to save my body so that when he, burns down all of the hospitals because he hates it when we're healthy, then I'm prepared somehow.
Just get shots you don't even need.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Give me the full workup, you guys. I want it all.
Just go in for a bypass. They're like, your heart is totally fine. It's like, clear out what's in there. Let's make some room.
Yeah, I want to be kind of like a Lady Wolverine and just put in an adamantium skeleton and a new heart and more lungs and 5 kidneys. And just
Now that's Canadian healthcare I can get behind.
Hey!
I like that you were so specific that it's like, and more lungs. More lungs. How many more? It doesn't matter.
As many as you're willing to give me.
As many will fit. The other thing that's going on that is happening in the future for us, but possibly has already happened for the listeners listening, is the debates are set to start this week. The French debate is Wednesday, and the English one Thursday. They're both happening in Montreal back to back. There was a little bit of controversy with the debates because the Green Party is in. They are participating in the debates, even though they did not meet the requirements because they're not running candidates in enough ridings, and they're not polling high enough. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm very for the Green Party being invited despite that, but there's a bit of hypocrisy there because Maxime Bernier's People's Party of Canada, remember them? They were they were denied for the same reason. So it's just clearly...
it wasn't for that reason.
Also, they don't have any MPs. In fairness, they also don't have any MPs, which the Green Party does have 2 or 3, I think. They're both leaders of their party. But yeah, so that's the little bit of hypocrisy that is there. How do you feel about this decision to exclude the People's Party but include the Green, even though you were using the same standards? They both should have been included. Or excluded, excuse me.
The fact that all of us went, oh yeah, Maxime Bernier is probably an answer to that question.
Because you said green, and we were like, yeah, oh yeah, green, obviously.
Yeah, Elizabeth May and that guy, yeah.
Yeah, People's Party was like a 90s sitcom that was just like horrific. They're like, oh my God, right, that show.
Oh man, such a jarring laugh track, and they're wearing their shoes inside the house.
It was a must-see TV show like between Friends and Seinfeld that lasted like 2 seasons, and you don't remember it?
2 seasons. I'm thinking like 6 episodes.
Probably closer. Jonathan Silverman was on it.
Yeah,
100%.
that's a deep cut, but listeners Google that, and that's a great joke. If you know who Jonathan Silverman is, that's a great call.
Listeners, do your research and appreciate what you have.
I assume everyone is listening to this just like next to their computer, ready to Google whatever we talk about. So far, it's Jazz Cigarettes, Blade 2, and Jonathan Silverman.
That's the way I've been listening to the show.
I like
just
that you
with my
snuck
fingers
Blade
poised.
2 in there.
Yeah, I like how you're trying to pivot it off of Logan's Run. I noticed that.
Push the thing he got his PhD in.
Hey, y'all, we talking about Blade 2?
Anyways, you know what this reminds me of? One time I was in a vampire nightclub.
Oh, look, it's a pretty good movie. It's
not
better than
bad.
Blade, and it's way better than Blade 3.
Disagree. As a person who worked very hard to tour at Blade 3, it does not have his rock hard abs, and by his I mean Ryan Reynolds, and also that beard though. So,
I mean, I give credit to any movie where the star will not talk to the director nor come out of his trailer, and the movie still came out. You gotta give him credit.
Yes.
That was still a movie. It was in theaters. People paid to see it, even though the star refused to be in it.
Did they CGI his eyes open at one point?
They did. He was sleeping. Yes.
Amazing. I love it.
It's fantastic.
Also, Patton Oswalt's in it. So I take it people are not dying to see Maxime Bernier in the, in the debates.
I already forgot about him again. Oh, right.
In fairness, we've been talking about Blade 3 for 10 minutes. So,
yeah, but them abs though, right?
Yeah,
Am I
were not wrong.
right?
I mean, Jessica Biel's too, not bad. Both of them were rocking some good abs.
Yeah, you're right.
Dismiss. What year is this? What year are we in? With the year where you dismiss Jessica Biel's?
This, I guess, would be like a 20s person who found out about Jessica Biel because she time traveled forward. Not for me, fellas.
I mean, I like Seventh Heaven, but she was the worst part. Do we have any predictions for how these debates, because there are two, obviously one will be a little bit more watched by English Canada than the other, but any predictions for how the debates are going to go?
I think Carney's going to have to be politely reminded he can't bring his Duolingo on stage with him during the French language debate.
Yeah, I would like to see the Green Party co-leaders, Elizabeth May, and I do know his name, Jonathan, I don't know how to pronounce it, Penno, answer every question together, like one word at a time, improv game
Like
style.
the improv game.
Yeah.
And the answers
environment
make no
is
sense.
needed to taxes.
Goes off, just like an improv exercise.
Yeah.
It's gibberish. And the moderator's like, Mr. Carney, rebuttal. Just baffled.
No, I'll let them keep talking. This is good for me.
No, they'll skyrocket in the polls.
Yeah. Wow, the Greens just kind of pivoted from one improv game to another. They're just like zip-zap-zop with two people.
I like a leader that can react that quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Now they're doing the sit-stand,
Band.
fall over.
Yeah.
I'm out. Those are the only two improv games I know. I never took improv.
Oh, I know too many of these from doing improv on cruise ships, man. It's a weird scene.
And it was with Elizabeth May the entire time.
Hey, she's a good scene partner. She's really funny. She yes ands.
I kind of they could do that, or they could do like a wrestling tag-in situation. Where it's like, he doesn't know how to answer the question, and then you just like the big dramatic tap, and then she comes. That'd be fun, right?
And then she hits Jagmeet Singh with a chair.
Just runs. You know when someone gets tagged in and they just hit everyone in one run?
I mean, yeah. No
It just stands there in the center of the ring like, yeah! The environment!
This is the rebrand the environment needs, and also the Green Party needs.
Yeah.
The environment doesn't really need a rebrand now that I say it, but why not? Make it cool again,
I'll say the thing I'm looking forward to the most in the debates, Pierre Poilievre has been campaigning for, I'm going to conservatively say, 100 months at this point, nonstop. It's all he's been doing. All he has wanted to do is get into a debate ring with someone, and he is going to be worked up way too much. He's going to be like a kid who's supposed to have gone to bed an hour ago, but is just getting more excited. And Justin Trudeau's not going to be there, but he's still going to be yelling questions at him. He'll be like crushing Red Bulls in the back room. I cannot wait to see him spiral out or eat everyone.
My only concern is like if Carney lets that fucking Mr. Hyde part of him out. You know, like every now and then he'll do an interview and it's like, what just happened? Like he gets like really mean.
Oh, his dark side.
Yeah, his like dark side. Like, I could see like Polyev pressing enough buttons and he's like, shut up, you garbage train. Do you know who I am? I'm saving you, you morons. Rebuttal?
And then he tries to have him liquidated.
Keeps pressing a button for a little hatch that won't open.
That's for your microphone, Mr. Carney.
Damn
it.
Damn and blast.
He's asking the moderator, which one is Steam? Which one is Steam?
My henchmen were supposed to install this yesterday. God damn it!
Release the hounds.
They were too busy planting buttons.
Did my staff lie to me? I told them I wouldn't do this unless there was a Steam button. I must burn my enemies.
Yeah, so if that happens, leave a comment on the podcast. Well, the other big news this week in Canada, and I'm sorry to segue to a serious topic.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know. That's not the podcast for this. But no. So Pierre Poilievre came out and said he wants to be the first ever prime minister to invoke Section 33, the Notwithstanding Clause, specifically in order to overturn the Supreme Court ruling that consecutive life sentences violates the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I'm going to get on a soapbox here, and apologies to everyone who's been in a writer's room with me and seen me do this many times. But
we can all take 5.
Yeah, exactly. The thing, all good points. And by the way, I remembered listening to last week's episode. Thank you. Listening to last week's episode, I remembered I promised to compliment the Conservatives, and then I did not do that. So the thing I was going to compliment them on was I thought they had a very good plan for cracking down on tax avoidance, and that's something that is like a huge issue that no one ever talks about because it doesn't matter what the tax rate is if the millionaires and billionaires are just sending all their money offshore. So I thought that was actually a very good plan. That being said, this is fucking insane. Keeping multiple murders in jail, which is what he's talking about doing, is obviously an insanely popular policy. On a straight up vote or like a referendum, it would probably get 80, 90% support. But the whole point of the charter is to protect people, even fucking monsters like the Quebec mosque shooter, from popular actions. It is the definition of opposing the tyranny of the majority. You don't need charter protections until you do. And so for everyone on like the Poilievre side of things who's like, this is great. Just imagine if, say, like in 2021, Trudeau proposed using Section 33 to enforce like an absurdly draconian vaccine mandate. Like if you haven't gotten the vaccine, you can't leave your house for more than 30 minutes a day or something insane like that. How offended people would be like that. The way that you damage the charter and the way that you eliminate charter protections is by popular actions. You're never going to do this for a thing that majority of people don't support. And the second, as we saw in Ontario with Doug Ford, the second you use Section 33 once, it's so easy to do the second time. Once the dam is broken, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Sorry for mixing my metaphors. Once you do it once, you will do it over and over again, in my opinion. Obviously, that's just my thoughts.
It is the Pringles of constitutional safeguards.
Yes. Thank you for making a joke out of my long-winded rant. I appreciate you, Ian. No, I genuinely do, because I was just building to rage and not a joke at all, as everyone can see or hear. But yeah, so that's like, and also the thing that I think people should keep in mind is he's talking about a law that the Harper government put in the law that says if you kill multiple people, you get consecutive life sentence, aka you get 25 years for one, 25 years for the next. That's 50 years, not 25 years served at the same time. It is not 25 years and you're out. It is 25 years and you're eligible for parole. The parole board in these cases almost always refuses parole. That's why Paul Bernardo, for example, is not walking around the street. So he's making it seem like, the Quebec mosque shooter is going to be out in 25 years. Almost certainly will not be. I mean, I can't guarantee it, which I understand is very concerning to hear, but I can't imagine a world in which after 25 years, the parole board is like, yep, let him back out. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. But end of rant. How do you guys feel about this? Do you think this is a big concern? Do you think it doesn't really matter because he's not going to win anyways? How do you feel?
I want to know what William Lyon Mackenzie King has to say about this. I'll get that segue eventually.
You know what? It feels more organic and not enough.
Really, yeah, it was so fluid.
I think it's amazing that Pierre Poilievre is like, I don't want to be Trump at all. I am so different from Trump. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to defy the Supreme Court
that's a good
and
point.
do some bullshit tough on crime stuff. That's how different I am. It just seems like a weird maneuver from him, in my opinion, at this point. I think he realizes how far behind he is in the polls right now and just wants attention.
I would agree with that. It feels like flailing a little bit, and I feel like he's hoping that people are only gonna take out of it. My opponents hate jail, but I love jail for bad boys.
Our impression game is getting tight on this episode.
I don't know what year that was, but I like it, and I will. All right, I kind of okay. This actually feels semi-clever. Props to whatever campaign member we're all making. Campaign
Jenny
manager
Byrne.
Jenny, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is, in my opinion, this is just a head fake. Do not go for the head fake. This is a head fake. He doesn't give a shit about this. This all comes up so that now, and Carney went for it, and all the progressives are going to go for it. Where it's like, oh, there's a slippery slope, and now we look like exactly what the conservatives want us to look like. It's like, look at these fucking guys who overthink everything, and yeah, we're right, but it doesn't matter.
We would never overthink it and talk about a slippery slope, right, Lou?
Hold on, let's work this out. But my point is, like, just at this point, why is Carney answering questions? This isn't the fucking 80s. You don't have to answer questions anymore. Here's what you do. Any question they ask you, it's just, you know what I like? Freedom and Canada. Just that shit over and over again. Because that way you get the dumbs and you're going to get the smarts. Where are they going? The NDP? Come on, man. Want to fucking win or not? That was my rant.
And as we know, there's way too many dumbs and not enough smarts, so you need the dumbs.
You need the dumbs.
You do
gotta
need the
get
dumbs.
You got the smarts.
Guys,
the
we're
smarts
never
aren't
going to
going
beat Joe
anywhere.
Rogan's podcast talking like this. Come on. We need those dumbs. Please listen, dumbs.
All right, what if vaccines made our dicks all shrivel up? What do you think about that?
I think that's a great question. I didn't think about that.
I kind of feel like maybe he should use like that. Maybe the Carney's comeback should be that. Be like, I'm going to use it to make sure that everyone who runs for office has to have worked in the private sector. And then you could flip and be like, what are your thoughts on that, Pierre? Yes, right? He's been a government kid all
I think
his life.
your point about Carney jumping in is absolutely right, because he said basically a more succinct version of what I ranted about for 2 minutes, which was that's a very dangerous move.
There we go.
And Poilievre immediately was like, "Oh, it's dangerous to put to keep murderers in jail. I think what's dangerous is murder." That's literally what he said. I didn't make that's not me doing an impression. He just said, "What's dangerous is murder." Like he said it like that. Murder.
Right down the barrel, just looking at the camera.
100%.
That feels like the tagline to a cool movie I want to see. What's dangerous is murder.
Yeah, from like a really obvious detective who doesn't quite understand the job. Oh shit! Murder is when people die. Yes, detective. Yes.
Yeah, taking off his sunglasses, he's like, "Oh, shit."
He still had sunglasses on underneath his sunglasses.
Obviously. It's like there's a 20-minute break in the middle where they just explain the difference between murder and manslaughter to him, and they're like, "You really should know this by now. You went to school." Well, I think, everyone can breathe a little bit of sigh of relief that, like, even if Carney wins, I can't imagine a majority situation where he'd be able to actually do this. But I do think we are seeing the Notwithstanding Clause used more and more.
You mean even if Poilievre wins?
Sorry, even if Poilievre wins. Apologies.
It'd be hilarious if Carney wins and he's like,
Full Darth Maul.
Maul.
Full Darth Maul, and now I will use it.
Look at my cool makeup.
I believe you mean Darth Sidious.
No, I want him to be Darth Maul. I put on horns. Horns and zigzags.
And he's like 5'2".
House of Commons, full horns and zigzags.
Every morning I wake up and I put on my horns and my zigzags and I stand on my knees and I put my shoes on my knees. That
And
makes
the
me look smaller.
pajamas, the pajamas, and he's got like the double. He's just flipping it around as the leader of the opposition is talking.
You know
Yeah,
what?
keep
I'm
talking.
sick of flips. No one can say I'm not sick of flips.
All his policies are double-sided.
Nice.
Thank you.
We're topping that.
All this riff based on me fucking up completely, getting the names wrong. Well, wonderful. I think that's all the news we wanted to cover. But a quick message before we jump into our grand finale of the quiz. To you, the listener, thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. If you could be so kind, if you have not already, please, the podcast app of your choice, jump on it, give us 5 stars, leave a review. Feel free to talk about, as I mentioned, which version of Jocelyn you like the best. They better be all of them is the answer. 5 stars for all of them. If you've already done it once, you can jump on another app. That's fun too. Also, feel free to tell a friend, post about the show on social media, share our video clips. It all very much helps us with word of mouth. And finally, if you do feel like supporting the show monetarily, you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/thebeaverton. For as little as $4 a month, you get extended length episodes of this podcast where we cover stories we don't cover on the regular episode. You might be sitting at home wondering like, hey, this whole time they didn't talk about the tariffs. Actually, we did. It's in the Patreon version. So feel free to join us on Patreon. You get that. You get discounts on merch or free signed copy of our book. You can get exclusive articles every week. It's a ton of fun. We also do a lot of polls and quizzes on there so people can tell us what they want us to be covering. It's a great time. And to any patrons listening, thank you so much, patrons. You are the reasons we get to do this. You're the reason the website still exists. We love you very much. And now, without further ado, the approximately 10-minute long quiz.
It's the approximately 10-minute long quiz. Brought to you by Time.
Every week I challenge our panelists to play the approximately 10-minute long quiz where I put there's an intro. That's why I paused. There's a whole intro.
Theme song that we didn't hear.
We all did a little dance. Luke's coming at us with double lightsabers, and it's terrifying. We have to answer
Horns
these questions.
grow.
Oh, the zigzags are there.
Every week I challenge our panelists to play the approximately 10-minute long quiz where I put their knowledge of some lesser-known news stories of the week to the test. Our first question. Donald Trump, still on him, had his physical this past weekend. When speaking with reporters, Trump said one part of his body in particular was, quote, very good. What was it?
I mean, I absolutely thought he said it was his penis, but I'm going to qualify that and say that I don't think he knows what any part of his body is anymore. So I think they probably pointed to his leg and said, that's working fine. He's like, and look how big and long it is. And they were like, what? That's my take. Anyone else?
I think the part of his body he said was good was he said his massive, beautiful breasts. I think he's just so bored with the lies at this point that he's just getting like bigger, obviously disprovable lies.
Yeah.
Saying it to reporters, be like, say I'm wrong. I dare you to say I'm wrong to my face.
Yeah, Newsmax, try it. Just see what happens if you deny my beautiful, all-natural double Ds.
Newsmax would be like, yeah, you're right. They're amazing. These huge bazooms.
Wow, this
That's
is a
what they
really
talk
fun
about.
riff on the Emperor's New Clothes. The Emperor's huge breasts.
Sounds like an 80s movie that no one wants to watch.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say that's the porn parody of the Emperor's New Clothes, but yeah, both work.
Corey Haim in the Emperor's New breasts.
Whoa, dude!
I know. How am I going to win the skiing competition with these? My breasts go faster. Do, 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 do.
And then a song from the late 90s starts playing. Well, it wasn't that. Does anyone know? Does anyone know the real answer?
I don't have a guess. I just like that at this point, a successful physical is like grounds for bragging. I
mean, it
want
was
to
pretty
see.
surprising.
I want to see the degrees of the people giving this test because I need to know. It's like University of Phoenix Online. Who is giving him a green light in his
Yeah,
physicals?
there's definitely some collude. Like this guy's.
Is it RFK? Yeah, your pure milk count is great.
Your blood count it's good. You don't have any vaccine. That's what he sounds like, right?
Probably.
Sort of,
Probably.
yeah.
He looks like that.
Like if Moe from The Simpsons was in a house fire.
I mean, that he started himself. We know Mo.
Well, you had to smoke the bear meat.
Yeah. The real answer was his soul. He was asked about his physical results. He said specifically very good heart, very good soul. 1 second later, he was like, "Oh, so we're going to deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador prisons." But yeah, his soul. That was his real answer. You guys are looking at me like I made this up. This is absolutely what he said.
Okay, we got to do something. We got to. As a society, we all have to get it. We have to gather around. We're like, look, we just this once. We do this thing and we never talk about it again. Yeah, just as like an entire population, a species. We're like,
I know what you did last summer.
We 1,000%. Like, what is it? 9 billion people get together. Like, look, just this once, and then never. We eradicate it from the history books, and then we just move on. We don't have to do anything bad. We just put them in a home. And then that's it. We never happen.
I 100% thought you were suggesting we just commit a little light murder.
No, I'm not Darth Maul.
Yeah, though. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you for this, like, 100% of the population purge against one guy.
Just one guy. And just a gentle purge. Just put him in a wheelchair.
Just an itty-bitty purge.
We're changing your location. And then we just decorate the home so that it looks like the White House. We give him a phone that doesn't have a wire on it. And he can just pick it up and yell. There's a button that he can send nuclear strikes out to. This is great.
Absolutely. A pneumatic tube that delivers him hot dogs. It's perfect.
Full like press corps with just actors.
Can I get in on this? Yeah. Actually, we painted too nice a picture.
Yeah, this is also the plot of Goodbye Lenin. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
I did not.
I won't explain it all. It's very too long. But essentially, a guy does that out of kindness to his mother, who goes into a coma before the wall falls in Eastern Germany and comes out afterwards. And he's like, "Wow, she can't handle the shock of seeing that. That's all happened." So he just tries to recreate Eastern German life just for her. That's a great movie.
That's amazing.
This all also makes me think. Like, I think you're definitely right that it was RFK, and the physical consisted of having 2 hubcaps kind of held next to his head. And I think RFK did tell him, like, you have a good soul. Your soul is working.
I thought he would just had him do like a couple of hammer curls. You're good, bro.
Yeah.
There was a box on the form that said soul, and then they like wrote
Soul.
good next to it. Yeah.
Soul, yes. Penis,
Check.
leg. Darth Maul. It was all in there.
Phenomenal. Well, sadly, no points on that one. Our next question. We've all seen in movies or TV shows where the cops put out spikes and blow the tires off a perp's car. But what novel, but honestly kind of logical solution to this maneuver did an Iowa fugitive come up with after having their car's tires spiked by police?
Defunding the police. Specifically their spike budget. That's it. That was the move. Just lobbied for a few years. They're like, these spikes, they're spending so much money on spikes. I don't know
While
why.
being chased, she's just starting petitions.
Yeah. Then he did the job because he knew they didn't have the spikes. Playing chess, not checkers.
You know what? I love it. And you're not as insane as this is going to sound.
What?
You're not entirely. You are, but you're not. But you are, but you're not. When I tell you the answer, you'll understand.
Okay.
You'll see my logic, I think. Which is just doing something that you should not have time to do in the time you're getting caught by the police. Does anyone know? Or does anyone want to guess?
Oh, I want to believe he stuck his feet out the bottom of the car and ran Fred Flintstone style.
Ooh, also great.
I was going to say bubbles. He just got in a bubble.
Well, it was actually a she. I didn't clarify that. But
Wow, come on, guys.
She-
2025.
Yes, we can, by the way.
fugitives in high-speed pursuits can be women. I
Yes,
don't know if you
and
knew
we
that, Jocelyn.
can escape via bubbles.
She called AAA to have her tire replaced. See what I mean about not? Yeah. So Anime Cabalsa, I think I said Iowa. She's actually from Utah. She was going up to 130 miles per hour when cops attempted to pull her over. She fled. Went for 100 miles before cops were finally able to get the spikes out in front of her. They tried multiple times. On the second go, they managed to blow out her front left tire. So the car couldn't be driven anymore. So eventually she pulled over. But she refused all commands to come out and exit her vehicle. She didn't shoot or anything. And she was just sitting there. And after about 40 minutes, the cops on the scene got a call from AAA being like, "We have a woman who's asking us to come out to replace her tires."
This woman should be the president.
Yes.
This woman should absolutely be the president.
That's the cleverest thing I've ever heard.
The amazing audacity to inconvenience everyone and then be like, hello, the mechanics. Come get me, please. Probably ordered an Uber. Probably a DoorDash as well.
Yeah. She had McDonald's arriving on scene.
I just hope that the police were so baffled by this AAA guy showing up that when they turned around, she had left like a scarecrow in the front seat and fled on foot.
That'd be a good. It was a diversion that I like more. Rather than thinking the police are going to let a mechanic come through, jack up the car,
Come on, guys, be cool.
Switch out the tire, keep
Give
on
her a
driving.
chance.
Yeah.
It's just about done. All right, everybody, back in the cars. We're about to start over.
All right, timeout over in 3, 2, 1.
Over, everybody.
Oh, man. All right, next question. In the wake of Trump's tariffs and annexation threats, many Canadians have been forced to make decisions about how to support Canada and stand up to America in our own personal lives. How have Canada's brave War of 1812 reenactors contributed to this movement?
By burning down exclusively Canadian houses. Keep it at home.
You're not far.
Oh, shit.
I keep saying that, and the people listening over like, that was not close. What are you talking about?
You're not far. It's something completely different.
Yeah.
You're very wrong.
I'm just worried about your self-esteem if I tell you that you're wrong.
I need this.
I'm going to say crawling on their bellies to the nearest Laura Secord store.
Oh, nice.
Wow. I'm going to say, because they're all actors, I'm going to say withdrawing their visa applications for the U.S. It's just like,
You know they'd still go.
absolutely 100%. No, but they're saying, I'm not going anymore. Am I?
The reason I was saying you're not far is the exclusively Canadian part, which is they are skipping all American battles and only reenacting exclusively the Canadian ones, goddammit. So in other words, the ones where the Americans invaded us are still fair game, but they've canceled trips to the US to reenact everyone will know this, Battle of Ogdensburg, or the Battle of New Orleans. Yeah, big battle. I like the sentiment, and I understand why, obviously, right now you wouldn't want to go to the U.S. unless, of course, our visa comes through, in which case we're all going. Yeah. But I understand the sentiment. But it also feels a bit odd to only reenact the battles where we get invaded. Like, it feels like burning down a fake White House would be pretty on brand right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People would be into that, but I get it.
There were a lot of panic moves that happened in the whole, support Canadian. I myself have made many of them, which was, immediately changing my skincare regime to all Canadian products, and I'm suffering for it. I've never looked worse. My hair is a shambles. I've been using Canadian deodorant. Guys, I don't smell good. It's not going well, so I do
was gonna
understand.
say something.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you for being so subtle about it. So the panic maneuver of and this?
Yeah. Elbows up.
Elbows somewhere.
Yeah.
Elbows all over the place.
As soon as you said skincare, I was like, I can't think of a single Canadian skincare company.
Yeah, that's because there aren't any.
Yeah. That's one area we don't do great.
You don't use Rock Voisine's deodorant? That's what I use all the time.
Wow.
I exclusively Lubagoy moisturize. Hey, you're still on the air, probably. Lubagoy's moisturize.
Time to luba up.
Yes, luba up with me, Goy girls.
I have to tell this quick story. The day, and I'm serious, the day I quit my job because we were making the Beaverton TV show, I had a meeting with one of the writers on the show, and we were all so excited. And it was like a barbecue joint, and Luba Goy came in with her grandkid, and I'm assuming grandkid, and started haggling the price of a sandwich. And I was like, I don't think there's as much money in Canadian TV as I was hoping. This person's been on the air since 20 years before I was born, and she's haggling some brisket.
I mean, she lost a lot of money on the skin cream.
Yeah.
That was a big Hail Mary.
In retrospect, telling everyone to luba up wasn't error. And calling girls goy-rolls is not good.
She sold a lot to a very specific segment because they misunderstood what the slogan was.
It's all of the people watching The Emperor's New Breasts.
Okay.
Thank God I'm
Dude, can I sneak into the sorority with these?
Time to lube up.
I think we're doing guitar solo noises, I think. I don't know.
Those are the musical stings, right? It's every other scene.
and probably the entirety of Semi-Charmed Life.
I gotta see this movie now. We have to make this movie.
Absolutely.
our last question. On the theme of music, this game is complete the headline, where I'm going to read you a headline that's missing some words. This headline: Say It Ain't So. Wife of Weezer band member sent to hospital after
Hearing any of the post Blue album music.
Oh, that's good. Damn. Yeah, solid burn.
I have to go last because I think I guessed the right thing.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll jump in here and say I know next to nothing about Weezer. I remember that they put their music video on Windows 95, and you could watch their music video that way. So I'm going to say asthma.
I'm just taking a shot at a woman with asthma.
Yes, take that. Ooh.
You stupid Weez. I see what you did there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm an idiot. That was very good. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, do I need to do the Luba Goy bit again?
That's way more on my level.
You know, we're more of an
is too
emperor's
subtle,
new breast crowd.
I'm really
You
saying
gotta
this
bring
is
it
an
down.
Emperor's New Breast Crowd.
Yeah, your wordplay there is too much.
Yeah. Save it for your podcast, the cleverness. We just want straight up
She
absurdity.
fell down a mountain because of her massive breasts.
Amazing.
We're back.
All right, with a chance to win it all.
I wrote this. I was like, oh, this be hilarious. And I'm like, realizing she was giving birth.
Oh,
No?
a great guess in a I think that is a thing that like some stoned LA hippies would do.
That's what
yeah.
I thought. Wouldn't that be hilarious? I'm like, wait a minute.
No, the real story. Getting into an armed standoff with police.
Please tell me she's the Utah woman.
Do you know who I am? The wife of someone in Weezer. Now bring me a McDonald's medium fry.
Do you know who they are? And I don't want to pay full price for the sandwich. I lost
The wife
a lot
of
of
someone
money
in
on
Weezer. No, not Rivers Cuomo. One of the other ones.
I like this impression we're all doing of her. My voice has been fucked to hell from going to all of these Weezer concerts all over the earth.
This is the kind of thing that members of Weezer think is hard.
And look, if Katharine Hepburn was losing her hearing.
It's Katharine Hepburn too. I am the wife of someone in Weezer.
Anyway, armed standoff.
Yeah. So LAPD officers said they responded to the scene after a hit and run. They were kind of going through backyards to look for the suspect. She was not a suspect, but she just came out of her house and held a gun up and tried to shoot the cops. And they shot her, and now she's charged with attempted murder. And the best part about this, other than this is, that's fucked up. But the best part about this is that Weezer played Coachella last night and just didn't mention it. Yeah, sure. My wife tried to kill some cops, and she's currently in the hospital and soon going to jail. But hey, get ready for Buddy Holly. Ooh, just like Buddy Holly.
But also imagine a world in which they'd said exactly that. And that was
This next one's going out to my wife who almost killed some cops. Whatever. Say it ain't so.
Everyone
my wife killed a bunch of cops.
Why? Does that mean you're single?
See, that's the thing that I was
Come
curious about.
get a taste.
I said I was going to read the headline as it was and then take some words out. No headline that I could find started with even a little bit of a jaunty "Say It Ain't So" or other Weezer reference. Like, do newspaper headline writers even care anymore? They were just so serious. They were just like, wife of Weezer bassist shot the cops. And it was just like, come on, put some love into your life.
Because it was me. I'm so sorry. I tried a lot. It was a lot of Beverly Hills. Wife of Weezer.
Beverly Hills, that's where I shot the cop.
Gimme.
All right. Well, shockingly, no one won the quiz.
Why not?
Well, definitely not the listeners.
In lieu of an actual winner, I'll go with our special guest, Jocelyn Geddie. Is there anything you'd like the listeners to know about?
What would I like the listeners to know?
Yeah. Anything you want to plug?
Oh gosh, I write things. I have a podcast. I hate it, but I love it.
That's the name of the podcast.
That's the name of the podcast. I do not hate it. Well, oh God. This is my new character, Nervous Woman. You can find me at places. And,
Back to the 40s. Full circle. I love it.
Yeah, doing people and things, and that came out wrong.
Or did it?
Or did it, boys? Ring-a-ding-ding, it's the 50s. Luke's face is soaked with regret. Shame. It is amazing to see.
Oh, it's not true, but they're all going to believe it. Everyone listening will be like, Jocelyn seems like an honest cat.
She smokes jazz cigarettes and she knows a lot about Cinemax in the 80s.
Okay. So yes, do check out I Hate It, But I Love It, though. Jocelyn is humble, but it is insanely successful and so funny. It's truly one of the best podcasts out there. So do, if you like pop culture, if you like hilarious people talking about pop culture, do check it out. Ian MacIntyre, anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, geez, sorry. I was so enjoying that. I still writing for the Beaverton website. We're still doing things. Please try and support the Twitter beef that I'm trying to start with California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
Who hours after I wrote an article about a American tourism campaign to try and get Canadians to go visit and maybe also visit El Salvador, he actually launched a pro-Canadian tourism campaign, and I believe he ripped off my joke.
Yes.
So please try and support that.
Wonderful. How's it again?
I have podcasts. I also have podcasts. Jocelyn. I have a podcast, Total Annihilation, which is a good news podcast if you're into good news. And I have another podcast, Comedians and Dungeons and Dragons, which is me playing Dungeons and Dragons with some comics. Super funny.
Wonderful. Both also hilarious. And yes, we need good news these days. I mean, you can take the Weezer story if you want for your next episode.
I mean, it's sold. Done.
Nothing more good news than a woman getting shot. Anyways, sorry.
We're closing on that.
I guess. You know what? What are you going to do?
Take us out, Savage
The remix.
All right, Andrew, find the edit point there somewhere. Thank you.
The Beaverton Weekly Report is produced by Andrew Rivamy in partnership with the From Superheroes Network. Visit FromSuperheroes.com to hear more great podcasts like this.